All right, with the return of Aaron Judge, save the Yankee season. Hashtag All Rise is back in the lineup as the Yankees try and avoid a 5-game losing skid. So Greg Joyce is on to try and pinpoint why the Pinstripes need the next 2 games to avoid, I guess, what you could call rock bottom at this point. Greg, thanks for hopping on with us live from Texas. I guess let's get into the hottest and most, I guess, hopeful storyline that's out there, the return of Aaron Judge. They're 4-6 in the last 10 without him in the lineup. So two-part question here. Is he rushing back to action from that elbow strain? And part two, can Aaron Judge save the season?
Yeah, I don't think he's rushing back. I mean, this was the Yankees' hope all along when they put him on the IL was that you would just need the minimum 10 days to kind of let it settle down a little bit. And he is just returning as a DH for now. It sounds like he'll start trying to play catch today or tomorrow. And then based on how that goes, we'll see how quickly he's able to return to the outfield. So that's the biggest next question now that he's back is when can he actually play the outfield? Because in the meantime, he's just going to be DHing, and that means you're pretty much going to have Giancarlo stand on the bench unless they are actually realistic about trying him in the outfield, which they are leaving the door open for that to happen at right field at Yankee Stadium when they get back home. But we'll see. But yeah, it's they needed a bolt, a jolt, a boost of energy, and maybe Judge's return can provide a spark like that. But the reality is that this stretch has gone over 2 months, so they were struggling before Judge went on the IL. 25-33 since May 28th, so it was 4-6 without Judge. But that's pretty much in line with what they were doing with him. So it's not like his return alone can kind of save them. They gotta put everything together. One night the offense goes off and the pitching struggles. Other time the pitching is there, the defense base running costs them. It's always something on most nights. So they kind of just gotta play cleaner baseball. Get it from all facets. It's not gonna be just Judge's return that kind of snaps them out of this.
All right, that's something that you were talking about that causes this team to lose was bad bullpen play last night. Luke Weaver, Camilo Duvall, and David Bednar each toss a perfect inning to protect a 1-run lead. And then in comes Devin Williams and Jake Bird. They came in and stunk it up, Greg. So Devin Williams has gave up a run in 5 of his last 7 outings and has a 5.10 ERA. Are they going to pull him from that closing role again?
Yeah, they certainly have the options to replace him or at least mix in some different guys in that ninth inning if they want to. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of start to mix and match a little bit. Devin Williams said after his a pretty bad first month as the Yankee, he had put together a nice stretch of I think it was around 25 games where it looked like he had turned the corner. But then obviously, like you said, giving up a run in 5 of his last 7, all of them coming since the All Star break. So wouldn't be surprised, maybe, in the whether they tried David Bednar there, Camilo Duvall, 2 guys that, just came from teams where they were the closers, and obviously Luke Weaver as well. We saw him take over for Clay Holmes, obviously last year, late last year, and then for Williams during a stretch here early. So they have the options. They have guys that they can mix and match with, guys that have closing experience. And it wouldn't be a surprise if they kind of start to mix and match a little bit, kind of play matchups. We'll see if they make a full change and have a full time new ninth inning guy, or whether they kind of just go by who's pitching well at that moment. But uh, you know Devin Williams kind of chalked it up to one bad pitch on Monday night, which is true, but that's doesn't he did say it can't happen there. He said he feels like he's throwing the ball pretty well, but he said the last 2 times it's been one pitch, and that's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a rough stretch for him and the team, so we'll see. They by bulking up the bullpen at the deadline, they gave themselves the options to be able to do something like this. And then Jake Bird also got optioned to AAA, so they're trying to get him right. He had a rough month of July with the Rockies before the trade, and it's continued here. And 2 of his first 3, he's gotten beat up pretty good. So he's going to AAA to try to straighten things out, but we'll see what they do in the ninth inning here.
All right, let's talk about where the Yankees stand right now, Greg. They're tied with the Mariners for the second AL wildcard spot, but the Rangers are just 1.5 games back. There's a chance that the Yankees could be out of a playoff spot by the time you guys leave Texas on Wednesday. If that were to happen, how hot would Aaron Boone's seat be?
Yeah, there'd certainly be a lot more noise around it, I think. I don't think that anything would necessarily happen in season. Uh, that's not kind of the Yankees' way of historically operating, obviously. Boone just signed an extension before this season. I think he's gonna get the chance to try to get this straightened out. If I think it's 49 games left. The schedule in September, the back end of September does look like it could be favorable for them to go on that run, but they obviously need to make it happen here soon. I think Boone's tone has kind of changed in the last couple of days, at least in how he speaks with reporters. A lot of it early in the season, when this kind of swoon started in June and early July. A lot of it was just like, it's been a bad week here or there, or we got time to straighten this out. I think since the deadline passed and then you turn to, the calendar flips to August and you're in this 2-month sprint here. And as the losses have continued to pile up, I think there's been more of a sense of that this needs to happen now. And he's pointed out multiple times that it starts with him. I think that maybe some of that comes from, we heard Alex Rodriguez talk about where's the accountability. So I think, I think there has been a little bit of a shift in tone here over the last couple of days, knowing that they need, this has gone on for 2 months now, this stretch of bad play. So, I think I don't think anything would happen in season, but obviously, it's it's overdue for them to get this straightened out and kinda go on a run that they keep on saying that they're capable of making.
Yeah, it's getting late fast. Real quick injury update before I let you go, Greg. They just traded for Austin Slater at the deadline, and now he's been placed on IL with tightness in his hamstring. I know he's set to get that MRI to determine how long he's going to be out, but is there anything you can kind of tell us right now about how long he'll be out of action?
Yeah, he said at one point last night that, hopeful that it might be only be 10 days, but then he said it's still too early to know before they get that MRI. Obviously didn't look good. He was, busted out of the box to get down the line and kind of pulled up, on his way to first base because he felt it. So we'll see. He said he was pretty devastated by it. It was only his second game with the team or second start with the team. So not the way he wanted, his tenure to go. Obviously, he was in the lineup last night because they were facing a lefty, and that's exactly what they brought him here to do. And so he's going to be on the shelf for a little bit here. We'll see how long it takes. He said he's dealt with some left hamstring strain before a couple of years ago. So those things are tricky. Can't rush back from, or else you make it worse. But it does seem like it's going to at least cost him, a couple weeks maybe. We'll see what the MRI says. It's possible. I mean, it's only 10 days, but it was the timing of with Judge coming back. They don't have to send another guy out or make a roster decision on who was going to go for Judge. So it works out that way. But obviously, they acquired him for a reason. So they're hoping to get him back before long.
One guy that they brought in at the trade deadline gets optioned to the minors. The other guy lands on IL. Tough, tough start for these guys. All right, Greg Joyce, thanks for hopping on with this, man.
You got it. Thanks, Brandon.